This week, we talk about the animated feature from the mind of Kid Cudi, Intergalactic, and discuss if it would have been better as a live action movie. I'm Chad.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Jared.
You're listening to episode 76 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. All right, so before we get too far down the rabbit hole here, as I was listening back to last week's episode, Matt, and you were talking about cyberpunk, whatever the fuck edge runners, right? And I was like,
Correct.
Fucking broke ass dude. And so what I did was, I got this. This is sorry, podcast listeners. This is more for YouTube. Do you know what this is, Matt?
No.
Okay. Do you know what that is, Jared?
All I see is a dude with a cybernetic arm, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got the game.
Oh,
I didn't get
gotcha.
the game. Well, I did get the game. I got it for you.
From the library?
That's gonna be a really long one. No, so this case is fun. So this is a specialty case. This isn't the normal case because it was like the special edition or whatever. I got this from Marketplace today. From a dude for $10. Because you gotta jump on that shit while you can because motherfuckers like cyberpunk again,
Right.
So shoot me your address and I will mail this out to you Monday.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hopefully it gets to you before the weekend's out, because ideally, you know how like when you have company over and you want to like clean your house up and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So our next guest is a gamer, and I'm hoping that we can both be like, oh yes, I was playing Cyberpunk 2077 and yes, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I was playing Control. I'm gonna play Control this week, so we can be like, yes, guess that's a gamer. We also game too.
Right.
A little bit of pandering. Okay.
Yeah. But no, shoot me your address and I will do that first thing Monday.
All
right. So also, we posted a bonus episode a couple weeks ago, talking about how we were nominated for an award, and we lost. We lost to a podcast that is owned by the Discovery Channel.
Yes, that Discovery Channel.
Yeah, and I don't know if we really talked about it like on that bonus episode, but like every podcast we were nominated with except one other was like a podcast owned by like a corporation. And I don't feel okay about that. Like, what is the point of these podcasts, of this podcast award, if not to highlight podcasts to like push out there, right? And if you have like the backing of like CBS and the Discovery Channel and whomever else, like what new audience are you getting?
Right, because they had across the nominations, you had people who won and they're like, oh, I want to thank my engineers behind the scene. I want to thank my production team. It's like, it's just me and Chad here for our podcast. Everybody got people behind the scenes and everything. How can you compete with that?
Yes. And I do want to say once more, like, I do feel honored that we were nominated. And I'm not saying I have like sour grapes that we lost. It's just
nah, fuck that. I was mad when I found out we didn't win.
No, I was really pissed too. But it's just like, how do we compete with something like that?
The only plus side is they said that if you win 5 times in that category, you can't win anymore.
Oh, 5 times. Okay.
Oh,
Right. So
wow.
we're gonna have to wait it out. We have to
Disqualify
wait.
themselves.
Yeah, we have to wait it out, and hopefully Discovery Channel don't create a new black hosted podcast.
Yeah.
But they did
yeah,
say we can get a trophy that says that we was nominated.
yeah, we will we will get a participation prize if
Basically,
we won it.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I voted for you, so
And I
Well,
appreciate it.
We genuinely appreciate it.
of course.
But yeah, now that we're off our pity party and also, gifting Matt shit. The last time you were here, you were on the Gray Man episode, and that was like back
Yes.
in July, I think.
Yes.
So
A few months back.
So how you been since?
Pretty good. We're getting a patio put in right now.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool. My brother-in-law is in town. He's doing most of the work, but they had me out there
Your
slaving away
supervisor?
today. No, I was doing work. I was putting in that pain out there earlier and yesterday.
Okay.
So moving like 80-pound big sheets of like patio blocks. So I'm a little beat, but it looks good. Looks good.
Okay.
We just got to put the finishing touches on it. So
It'll be worth it when you sit back there barbecuing or whatever like that. It's gonna be worth it then.
Yep, look at the horses because I'm in Texas.
Oh.
A horse farm right behind my house.
Do you
I'm in
have
the
horses?
country. No, I don't have any, but like literally right outside my back fence in my backyard is like horses right there. So it's like a horse farm like right outside of my back gate.
Okay.
So yeah, it's nice though. It's a real quiet neighborhood and all of that. So I got no complaints. Yeah, so I saw an article that said Bruce Willis, he sold his rights to his likeness to a company, like a deep fake company. And if you don't know what deep faking is, it's like it's sort of like what they did with Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, where it's like a young version of Luke Skywalker. It's a little different from de-aging, but the techniques are similar. But basically, this company owns the rights to his likeness, so they can put him in movies and shows or commercials or whatever, and it'll look like him, but it won't be him because he retired from acting. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Space Jam 2?
But LeBron, no.
So that was basically the plot of Space Jam 2.
Really?
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, Bruce Willis is like, hey, I'm doing it. So he sold
Money,
his rights.
please.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it's like it would be weird if he didn't consent to it, which is like
I think it would be illegal.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, for example, if you were to try to bring back like a deceased actor, for example,
Right, but they talk to their estate. Like
that's true.
Like what was that? Rogue One? When they brought back Tarkin, like they didn't just bring him back. They had to talk to his family.
Yeah, but see, even that felt weird because I don't know. It's just something about like seeing a deceased person on the screen. It just feels weird. But with this Bruce Willis situation, I feel like it'll still be a little weird just because I feel like the technology isn't fully there yet for it to be like 100% believable. But it's a lot less icky feeling when it's like a dude that's still living. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's weird because I mean, you said that he's gonna be in stuff, but he won't be like for example, if I was making a movie about
if we were making Die Hard 6.
Right.
Or anything like, I was thinking I was making a basketball movie, right? And I want to deep fake Prince into this movie.
Okay.
So what's the difference between deep fake and just like doing some CGI stuff?
Well, it's basically the same thing.
With a deep fake, you could just take a bald dude with a similar stature to Bruce Willis and put Bruce Willis's face on his body. Like a CG thing would be like I mean, and with deepfake, it uses CG, but like with a CG character like Tarkin, for example, in Rogue One, he was fully CG. So there was, or
No, he wasn't.
the majority. I mean, his
face
face
was, but they still had
yeah,
an
his
actor
face.
there.
Right, they still had an actor there, but it's hard to explain, but it's very similar. But with the deepfake thing, it's like you're using multiple photos in like different angles and different lighting, and like they use the AI to generate the face of the person in like the right angle and the right lighting and all of that. So that's like the basic version of what a deepfake is. But like the advanced ones, you can it's like most of the time it's like an algorithm where like you put in the pictures, like all of the different angles of whoever you're trying to deepfake, and then you just let the AI do it. But like if you do it like in a more advanced way where you go hands-on, like you have to go in and like hand paint shit and like get the lighting right and tweak it by hand and not just let the AI do it. So like the advanced ones like take way more time, and it's not just like the porn shit is just like probably just an algorithm, like you put the faces in and plop it on there. That's why it looks like kind of janky.
But how does voice work?
Voice? What?
Yeah, the voice.
Oh, I mean, they've got software that can
Yeah.
mimic that. Just like, the James Earl Jones voice, he did something similar with his voice. And so like that Darth Vader voice,
I thought it was pretty good.
That, I mean, what I'm trying to get is like they've gotten that down so much that like it's a voice changer thing like in Scream.
Gotcha.
Right.
Also,
they
get it to sound right.
They used it in Top Gun for Val Kilmer, Top Gun Maverick for Val Kilmer's voice. They used AI to recreate his voice. Yeah.
I don't even remember him speaking.
It was like during that the scene where Maverick goes to visit him, and then at the end of that scene, he says like maybe 3 lines.
Okay.
But it's like an AI generated voice.
Okay, I got you. All right. What else you got?
So the MCU Blade movie that they announced, I don't know, 2018, 2017. Something like that.
You know how Disney is. They'll bring an actor out on stage. He'll be young and youthful, and then when it's time to film that thing, he's got a walker.
Yeah. So they announced the Blade movie a few years back with Mahershala Ali, 2-time Oscar award winner. And I love Mahershala Ali, so I was super excited to see the movie. And as far as I know, it's still coming out, but the director dropped out I think earlier this week. So not looking good. I don't like the sound of that. You never want your director to drop out like 2 months before you're about to start filming. You know what I'm saying?
Did they explain why he dropped out?
Well, they said it was scheduling issues. So I'm guessing it was like some kind of creative differences type of a thing.
But 2 months beforehand?
2 months before, yeah.
That's the thing that I feel like is weird, because it's like rough. If this was like a year ago, sure, creative differences, but like we're getting ready to get the thing going. Honestly, I think old boy got like a scandal or something. Because it's like it's too close to filming for you to have creative differences. Like you have to be past all that by that point. Like you looking at costumes and scouting locations right now.
Yes, absolutely. And you're right, because if you hired this guy to direct the movie, you already have talked to him about his vision for the movie and what you want to do. Both sides have already agreed to that when you hire him. So it's like 2 months before. It's like,
I can see like there being differences like after being hired, right? It's like how many people did they hire for that Flash movie before it actually got off the ground? Now, also, now that we know more information, the reason some of those people dropped out could have been because of Ezra Miller. But like I can see like there being creative differences like a couple of months in before you get to like casting and stuff like that. But like here, he probably has a scandal. He probably cheated on his wife, because this whole week was the week for like people being busted for being cheaters.
Definitely. But so this was the report. Also, they said the script was 90 pages. which is like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And they said it only had 2 lackluster action sequences
What?
in the movie. Yeah, in the Blade
How
movie.
you get to 2 months before filming with a weak script like that? And also, like, I
It's
don't I
worrisome.
don't I don't get that, because like MCU movies, they tell the directors, don't worry about the action. We already did the CGI for that like 6 months ago. You just direct the people. So like that don't even sound, he shouldn't even had anything to do with the script. So that don't sound right. That
I
don't
don't know,
sound right.
man. And
Why would
apparently
you only have
Mahershala
two
Ali,
actions? Only two action sequences in a Blade movie.
That sound like a first draft script. That don't sound like the
it
script
could
that
be.
we
It
we
could
did
be.
all this work on.
Yeah, the report didn't specify, but that was the report that I saw about it. So, and apparently Mahershala Ali is not happy about this. So,
MCU movies are so formulaic. They have a checklist. They're not gonna let something like that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that don't sound right. That I believe he's not happy. He probably liked the director, but like there's reasons that it's like, my boy, like we can't go on a press tour with you.
let me float this idea your way. Is it possible that maybe with the, I'll say, mixed reception to Phase 4, and they were kind of letting directors do their own thing. Taika definitely did his own thing with Thor 4.
I mean, but he earned that with Thor 3.
That's true, but what I'm saying is the reception hasn't been super positive to this latest phase, when they're sort of starting to branch out and let directors do their own thing. Sam Raimi definitely made a Sam Raimi movie. Is it possible that Marvel stepped in and was like, listen, we know we discussed whatever, but maybe we should pull it back and do something more similar to what we were doing in the first 3 phases? And the director was like, nah, I want to do what I want to do. I'm leaving. Is that possible?
It's possible. I mean, but also it's not like he probably actually didn't leave this past week. He probably left months ago. Like probably
Could be.
before they made that San Diego Comic-Con announcement. But
you know what, you might be right, because you don't want to have that going into Comic-Con.
right.
that sort of bad news going into Comic-Con.
Right. And then also you don't want too much bad press before D23 as well, which was like a month and a half later. So
True.
you wait until like a couple weeks after that to where like you have no big press events,
Right.
to where nobody could get asked those questions. So, okay, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably never know exactly what happened, but I just want the movie to be good. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we all love Blade, the Wesley Snipes Blade movies.
Never seen it, but go on.
You never seen Blade? Any of them?
We talked about this.
We did? Me specifically?
You were on that bonus episode, San Diego Comic-Con bonus episode.
Oh, wow. My bad. It's the patio, man. The patio.
That's real bad, Jared. All right. I got
patio.
knowledge of like 80 plus episodes with regulars and bonus. And okay.
Well, my bad. But you stop sleeping. Watch the Blade movies, or at least the first
2. I will after I see the MCU one, because I don't want to go in with.
You don't want to be tainted.
Yeah,
gotcha. That's fair. With the bad news of, I feel like this was done on purpose. So they dropped the bad news of Blade losing his director, and then they're like, let's just give him some good news and tell him about Hugh Jackman being in Deadpool 3.
Right.
He comes back, and it's like, oh, forget about Blade, we got Hugh Jackman back. So I think that was calculated,
strategic. I mean, it's cool, but it's not like I was chomping at the bit for Deadpool 3.
No good? You're not a fan?
I liked Deadpool 1. I felt like Deadpool 2 was nowhere near the quality of 1, and they had more money.
I definitely agree with you. 100%.
So it's like, I like Ryan Reynolds. Who doesn't love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? But it's just like, I mean, it's not like this is something that I was waiting on. Like, it's not like it's this fucking Black Panther 2 or even Ant-Man. I'm really looking forward to Ant-Man.
I think it's, for me, Hugh Jackman being announced in it like rejuvenated my excitement for Deadpool 3, because we know we were getting Deadpool 3 for a while, but
Right.
hearing this made me more excited for it for sure. But
Yeah, I'm
I
in
do
the same
agree.
boat like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I compare like Deadpool 1 and 2 to like Guardians of Galaxy 1 and 2. Like I like the first one a whole lot for both. And then the second one was like, it's okay. It's like the same thing, but it's like too far, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like too much a little bit. But it's still fine. You know, I don't hate either of the sequels, but I think the first ones are better for both.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like the announcement video? How they did it?
It was all right. It was creative. I wasn't like going crazy over it. I thought it was just a nice little friendly way, because you know they have a very close relationship, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. So it was cool to see them together, like just as friends in real life, announcing together. So that was cool. And another reason I thought it was strategic is because it's like, yeah, I could have announced this at D23.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
Right.
let's hit them with the bounce back news after the Blade. We don't need the MCU slander to go any further. Let's hit them with some good news. Get this She-Hulk stuff out of here, negativity out of here. Let's get them back on the positive route for a little minute.
I mean, they waited an awful long time to try and address the She-Hulk negativity. We just saw episode 7. Shit.
Did you guys see the second video they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like that one, because
I like the second
like
one.
how there's like, how we going to address that he died in Logan, and then the music plays and you can't really hear him. I enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever. And then he's like, well, the thing that I like about it the most is that, so when he starts off, he's like, I know you got a lot of questions or whatever. And then he's like, how is Wolverine back if he died in Logan? And then he's like, Logan is like a separate thing. So he automatically, you know, said that part. That part wasn't blanked out. Which I thought that was like kind of common knowledge, because even the director of Logan was like, this isn't really in continuity. Well, hardly any of the X-Men movies are really in continuity.
Right.
But he was like, this is like its own pocket thing. So I like that he reiterated that like Logan was like sort of a separate thing, but with multiverse and all of that, it doesn't really matter anyway.
That, and also like we don't know how Disney is going to address the Fox stuff. Like it's more than likely they're going to recast everybody. So this could be, you know, Wolverine from another dimension, and who cares, right? Just fucking stop being nerds, even though we're those kind of nerds that are gonna nerd out about these inconsistencies.
You know, one last thing about this, I would like to see like a yellow suit. It doesn't have to be like the spandex, but
the one that
cool see him in the yellow suit.
The one that they teased at the end of the Wolverine.
Yeah. It's like the sort of
beefy
sort of yellow suit.
What if they say that Deadpool 3 takes place after the Wolverine?
Could be interesting.
And then we see him in that yellow suit just cutting shit up.
That would be sick. I would love to see him in a yellow suit.
I mean, honestly, I feel like since this is going to be Hugh Jackman's actual last time playing the role, they're probably going to put him in all the suits.
I can see that.
The brown one?
It's
like all of them, just like any fucking suit he's ever had. Just be like, here, nerds, here.
That would be sick. I would love that.
But yeah, let's turn around for a quick second. Matt, you've seen part of an episode of Dahmer, right?
That is correct.
Have you seen any of like the I wouldn't say controversy, but the internet buzz around this TV show?
Yes, I've seen a lot, unfortunately. I just think it's so. For example, I saw.
Well, what is it? Yeah, what is it?
So it seems like, I guess people didn't know anything about Jeffrey Dahmer. They didn't know about like the crimes that he committed and how he committed them. So I guess seeing the Netflix show has like exposed them to it, and anything related to cannibalism or Jeffrey Dahmer or anything, they're like backlash. It's like a backlash about it, even if it has nothing. It doesn't. It's stuff that's happened or the stuff that's been created years and years and years ago, like a Katy Perry song, for example, and fans are like, yo, we can't listen to this Katy Perry song. It's just kind of crazy to me. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
One thing to piggyback off what you just said, yesterday I was reading something where they were saying that they were like Eminem, like they was talking about cancel Eminem for some shit he said in like 2000, when Eminem was doing this, and it's like you have the younger generation now seeing this stuff for the first time and having the outrage where it's like the outrage was there. The people said that stuff when Eminem was saying it the first time.
Right.
But this Dahmer thing is, I knew of him. I knew what he did. Yeah. I didn't know the details of it. I didn't know it was about black men, gay black men. I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah.
I just knew the general thing of Jeffrey Dahmer, cannibalism stuff.
No, I was aware like a lot of his crimes, a lot of his victims were black, and that's part of the reason why he got away with it for so long. Because if you over here murdering black people, who cares, right?
Right.
But so what I was talking about were I'm seeing TikToks where people, well, the TikToks I'm seeing are people reacting to these TikToks of people feeling sorry for Dahmer. Because they're connecting with him on the show. Because, well, let me rephrase. They're connecting to the actor. And so they're feeling sympathy for the actor playing the shit out of his role. And in turn, they're feeling sympathy for Jeffrey Dahmer. That's the way I'm seeing.
Well, I haven't seen that yet.
That's so weird.
Oh. Right.
But that's the fucking nature of people, right? Because like we don't want to look at things as they are, right? And so we have to find something to like make sense of this. And they're like, but does he need to go to jail? I mean, look at him. He's so hot. He's fucking Quicksilver.
This is so crazy to me.
This is the world we live in, man.
It's one thing, okay, if you're praising the actor, praise the actor.
How many times do we cross the signals of actor and character? I fucking hate actor because they did XYZ in this movie, right?
Right.
Or I hate actor because I don't like the script that they read because that's their fucking job. Right. And in turn, I hate this, I'm gonna, post some fucking man baby shit online.
Yeah, we see it all the time.
So people can't disconnect that shit for whatever reason.
Do you guys have a problem with them making this?
No.
Because the reason why I say that is because I saw where one of the victim's sister or cousin or something, where she was saying how, they had to work through all this, get past this, and now something like this is bringing it back up type of thing. So how do you guys feel about dealing with that side of it? And as somebody who's a writer or whatever, you pick up a story like, oh, this might be fire. And what's your thoughts about that?
So do you know if the family is getting any sort of money from this? The families of the victims.
I'm not sure.
Because like if we're just doing a story, if we're just making a fucking Dahmer story and being like, well, I mean, that shit happened, but we're about to get this Netflix check, then that's fucked up, right? You're profiting off of people suffering. Because if you wanted, you could have just made a documentary, right? But if we're just like, okay, we're gonna, get this scripted show, get this Netflix check, it's gonna clean up at award season, and like they aren't trying to do the responsible thing, then I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. But at the same time, it's like it's new. Whenever it comes to like restrictions or anything like that, not saying that you said this, but when it comes to putting restrictions on what you can make, I usually push back against that. So like I feel like if you want to make a story about Jeffrey Dahmer and you using the real victims and it's accurate, then I feel like you should be able to do that. But I do I do agree with you though that it is kind of messed up to make them relive all of this, because if it was one of my family members who got murdered or whatever by a serial killer, I would probably be tight. You know what I'm saying? Seeing a story on Netflix and having it all over social media, everybody talking about it. And meanwhile, I'm like, that was my family member. So I get that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of in the middle.
Also, with dramatizations, they always take liberties, right? And so
it's sensationalized
like
for sure.
And so like what if they make it seem like this is your family member's fault that they were killed, or some fucked up shit like that? And like once more, I'm with you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't make something like this, but I also feel like if you are going to profit off of tragedy of people that are still alive to feel this, that you should make some sort of restitution. I understand Jeffrey Dahmer himself. Is he still alive?
No, he got killed in
he
prison.
Got killed in prison.
Okay. Yeah. I understand he's not it's not like his estate is profiting off of this, but like someone is profiting off of this and using real names and likenesses.
And that's what it was. So Rita Isabel was a sister of the victim, and she said that Netflix should have asked if we mind her how we felt about making
they didn't
it.
Even ask.
And he says that it's just greed. It's sad that they're just making off of this tragedy. So then also says that the Jeffrey Dahmer case is a matter of public record, means the creators don't have to notify or pay the victims of the family. So that means, according to this, they don't have to. And I'm assuming she said it's just about greed. So I'm assuming that she did not get paid for it or any kind of money for it.
Right. And like I said, like if this was a documentary, I could look at that as like educational purposes. But like, I don't know. Like I get that it's public record, but that's still, to me, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a little questionable in terms of morality. So I agree with you on
that. So what's been keeping you busy this week, Matt?
My son and all this stuff. Like ever since he hit middle school, this little motherfucker's in everything. He's in yearbook. So since he's in yearbook, they gave him a camera. So he has to go to different events, dances, sporting events, take pictures. Then he's in band, and he just got a trombone that he's practicing with. And he's in baseball, which practices 2 to 3 times a week and has a game every Saturday. And this past Saturday, he had a double header. It's just, I mean, you know, you want your kids to experience different stuff and be in things, but I'm just like, damn, my Saturday used to be for me just chilling. Now I got to go out and do everything now.
You know, I didn't mention this last week when you were talking about all your son's activities, but Samantha signed our daughter up for toddler basketball. And I was like, okay.
Toddler basketball. Interesting.
Yeah, it starts in November, and I'm just gonna be sitting there watching my daughter throw the ball up, trying to catch it and shit. No fucking defense, you know. Like she's not gonna be aggressive. She's gonna be trying to dunk on everybody, you know. So, and it's gonna be her and all the kids doing that.
And that's another thing, like watching him play baseball is where it's like, I always contribute this to, like, you know, you watching like American Idol or something, and you see somebody on there can't sing worth a lick, but you know, it's horrible. You see the crowd shots, people are like snickering at them, and you feel bad for them, right? You're like, just get off the stage, man. Just get off the stage. But you know, they really trying though. That's how I feel about my son playing baseball. Like he really trying. He really trying out there, and I want to help him. I want to be on the field. I'm like, because the pop fly comes up there, he drops it, he's swinging and missing. I'm just like this. Oh God, I can't watch this. I want to help him out. Like one point, I told the wife, I was like, look, I'm about to go take a walk. I can't watch this no more because I get really into it because like he was doing catcher, so like, you know, the kids are pitching to each other. So, you know, the ball ain't always coming straight to the glove. It's going to the ground. So, but then the problem is my son's the catcher. So if he doesn't get the ball quick enough, the players on base always steals, right?
Yeah.
So as he's running to get the ball and everything, he's struggling. And then it was one point was funny because me and the wife and Sequels was like, Matthew, hurry up and get the ball. And then like the crowd looked, or the other families looked at us. It was like, I see this is not the only time that we said something like Matthew, hurry up or something like that. And then one of the parents was like, I can see that's not the first time you guys had to tell him that. And I was like, nah, but it was like, I just get too much into it and he'd be like struggling. And also I give him the benefit of the doubt. This is new to him. He's only been doing this about a month now, but it's okay. They moved on to first base where he's actually better at. So now I don't got to be doing all that.
That's good. At least the coach is like trying to get everybody in a position that's strong for them. Right.
But yeah, so then he did they had a doubleheader. Like the first game, the team, we got washed. It was like mercy rule in like probably the second inning. It got to the point where they was like, all right, our team, y'all just get out here. Y'all just bat or whatever. It don't mean how many outs you get. We just want everybody to play. Second game, they beat us again. Wasn't by too much. So then this game, we tied. So I'm like, we didn't lose though. So I guess
that's progress.
I take that as a victory. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then with that being said, like they're having this festival here at Sasebo. So I was like, all right, you know, a little celebration. Plus they was gonna have fireworks and stuff. So we went out there, had some takoyaki, some fried octopus balls.
Ooh, sounds good.
Some fried squid. My son had like hot dogs with cheese in it and things like that. Had a good time. And then of course they had the big fireworks display at the end. So then this got me thinking, we in 2022, all the technology we have, why do you think lights in the sky still amazes us? Why are we still entertained by fireworks?
I mean, Matt, with all the technology that we have, explain to me how fireworks work.
Dynamite. Or like how they actually work? Oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
So since we don't know, that's the part that amazes us?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just like it's a visceral experience to see fireworks. First of all, it's going high into the sky, it's loud, it's pretty. I think people just like to look at that stuff. I still love fireworks.
I mean, if you fully understood it, you probably wouldn't care as much.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I was still like, as soon as they started going off, you see everybody running around, they get a better view and everything. And of course, I did it too. But then I was like, when I was walking away, why are we still entertained by this? But like I agree. It is just, you see the loud pops and bangs and all the stuff, but that's all it is. But even all these years later, I don't know when they invented fireworks, but we're still entertained by it.
Mm-hmm. A true testament.
Yes. But when we was leaving, because we left early because we were trying to beat that traffic, it was one guy doing it. He had his little thing. He was running around pressing little buttons as it was going up and stuff. So I guess I know most likely Mythbusters has probably did some stuff about fireworks. I probably should check that out to see. I'll report back to you, Chad, and let you know how fireworks are done.
Because I want to know too. Have y'all seen any of those drone shows?
Yes.
Or instead of fireworks, it's drones.
Yeah.
I seen one on YouTube where it was like they did it in like Dubai or somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in real life, but I've seen them on New Year's this 2020, the New Year's for 2020 in Dallas. They had a drone show, and it was crazy. It looks weird in a good way.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Yeah, it looks weird in a good, like spectacularly weird. Like it's just because that it's not fireworks, but that it's like sort of a replacement for fireworks in a way.
Yeah.
But to see it move and get into
better
formation, yeah, and much cleaner and safer version of fireworks.
Yeah, that's what I meant by much better.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of crazy to see the synchronization and the lights moving in ways where it's like, because you can't actually see that it's a drone, you just see the lights. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool. It's definitely I would definitely go to one live if I had the chance.
Yeah, I would like to see
But,
one live also.
but speaking of fireworks, so like 4th of July stuff, do you guys do your own fireworks?
Yes, I do.
We had this conversation in real life, man.
Yes.
No, I maybe. Well, okay. The most I did was like I like the ones, the little ones that make noise and stuff, like the little popular things. Like I've done that with my nephews. I don't know. I feel like my daughter would like throw them at everybody, like, you know. So I'm not really sure about that yet. But that feels like more work than I need to put into it, like doing my own fireworks.
Since we've moved to Texas, we've done our fireworks at the house, but it's not like crazy. It's just like the little sparklers, and like we'll get a few that shoot up into the sky, but that's about it. Actually, this past 4th of July, we did it in our backyard, and our yard caught on fire because it's just
It's so
Texas,
dry.
and it's
Right,
dry.
dry.
Yeah. And my youngest son was freaking out. He's like, fire, fire. My 2-year-old. It's like fire, fire. He's like running away, like grabbing me, trying to get me to pick him up. It was hilarious. Like, well, at least he knows that that's dangerous. I was like, all
He's
right.
right. He's not trying to run into it, try to touch it. Yeah. But that's how I feel like as a kid growing up, we used to always do fireworks in the front yard and things like that. But it's like, I guess now as I got older, or maybe just being in Japan and don't do it. Like when I went back home on leave and they were doing it, I was like, why are we doing this? Well, like you said, fires, blowing something off, is getting shoot into the wrong house. Like I was like, why are we doing this? We're gonna watch there's people in the neighborhood who do like big ones or whatever. You're gonna watch them do it, and plus you have the big city ones. Do we really need to be doing this stuff?
Right. It's just trying to keep the tradition alive. But like, is that even a tradition that we should have been doing when we were younger?
Well, that's true. Yeah, yeah, a lot of shit we was doing younger probably shouldn't have done.
Well, no, I mean, yeah. But no, like I'm with you. It's like what truly is the point of like shooting the big ones? Like, yeah, you want to like get some poppers or whatever, but it's like we got to make sure we got the right thing to shoot these fireworks off on. Somebody always gonna burn themselves lighting it and shit, or like the fuse don't do something right, so you go up to get it and then you know the fucking thing fires right behind you and shit. It's like, why are we doing this?
Did you ever go like to the big city ones, like downtown, like to the arch, like the riverfront, and see the fireworks?
When I was younger, like you couldn't pay me to go to some of that shit now.
Oh, no. I'm too old. It's too many people and all of that.
The parking too. The parking fucking kills me.
Yeah.
Also, it's so late. Like I don't,
because you gotta wait for it to get dark and
right.
Yeah.
I want to be in bed.
That reminds me of New Year's Eve. I was like, what is the point of now? What's the point of staying up to midnight? I'm like, I remember when I was a kid, yeah, you want to do it and stuff. And then when I was older, yeah, you want to be, in a club or someplace at midnight and stuff like that. But now, what I gotta stay up to midnight for?
Right.
Let me get some sleep so I'd be real rested tomorrow for the first.
Right. I mean, the problem is some asshole is shooting guns and shit.
Yes, every year.
Yeah. Right.
Reckless.
Yeah.
But speaking of reckless, have you seen anything good on Netflix, Chad?
No, I have not.
Have you seen anything bad on Netflix?
Yes, I have. Funny enough, you called me while I was watching a true piece of shit. So I called Blonde, the Marilyn Monroe biopic. I was watching it with friend of the show, Rachel. And I when you're doing something with somebody and you're immediately like, oh fuck, I don't want to do this, but like you don't know how the other person's gonna feel, so you don't say anything. Because you don't want to be like, oh no, this is stupid, and then you don't want them being like fuck are you talking about? This is fine, right? So it's like maybe 5-10 minutes into the movie where I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I like this movie. And I don't say anything.
Rachel was all up in it, like, oh, this shit is fire.
Well, that's the thing. She wasn't. She's just looking normal at it. It wasn't like she was like captivated. She was just like looking at the shit normal. So I was like, okay. So we're watching it, and more. So the problem right off the bat is like this is one of those movies where the director is like, I am going to be a true director. You're going to see symbolism on every frame of this film, like that kind of shit. So it's like, why are you being artsy fartsy right now?
All right, you already told me not to watch this, so I'm not going to watch this. And if you do plan on watching it, I'm going to have Chad spoil the shit out this movie because I'm not going to watch it. And so he needs to put the shit out there. So if you want to watch Blonde and don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead a couple minutes. All right, fire off, Chad.
This movie's just bad. So like it opens up and it's all like, oh, hey, she didn't grow up with her dad, and her mom's like, she's a kid. Her mom gave her like a framed photo of her dad, and she's all like, one day you're gonna meet him. And basically this sets up like, oh, she has daddy issues now. So every man that she's with, she calls him daddy. And it's like she's doing the like, and it's our girl Anna de Armas. So it's like she's doing that like baby doll Marilyn Monroe voice, but like that shit don't sound right every time she says daddy, right? And also, like, I am a person that I can't speak for either you guys, but like I don't like it when my partner calls me daddy. I feel like that shit's weird. Like the only person I want calling me daddy is my child because I am her father. Like that's not sexy to me,
It used to be, I used to use it sexually, but once I had a kid, it stopped. Yeah. Because then it became weird. Once I became a father, it became weird.
I've never been into that, but like, yeah, I feel like please be mindful of that. People like don't call actual fathers daddy. So there's that, and so like there's like so much nudity in this movie, like from Anna de Armas, where it's like you get a little numb towards it, and also like none of it is like, yes, like she's naked because she's having sex, but it's like a lot of it's just like she's been exploited one way or another. Yeah. And it's like,
you're talking about Blonde or Anna de Armas?
Both. I mean, Marilyn Monroe. Both technically.
And, I mean, you can cut this out if you want to, but now you're saying exploited. Like, is it in her contract where she has to get naked in her movies?
She likes getting naked.
Yeah, she likes.
That's that. All her. That's all okay, Anna de Armas. It's more movies. It's more movie. It's fewer movies where she doesn't get naked than movies that she does.
Right, because I'm like, besides 007, I'm like, every other movie I've seen her in, yes. I've seen her titties in.
Yes, yes.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, I'm like, damn, they gonna like every movie. It's like, okay, per her contract, at least one nipple got to be out or something like that.
She makes sure her agent puts that in the contract.
Right.
Like, she likes getting naked on the camera. It's like, I'm happy that you're body positive. But especially for this movie specifically, the main thesis of this movie is she has because of her lack of a father figure in her life, she has been exploited by men. That's the thesis of the movie. And so I don't know. There's just a lot of shit. Like there's one part in here where there's a lot of inaccuracies. Like there's one part in here where they said that she was in a throuple. That's when you're instead of a couple of two people, you're in a couple of three people.
Right.
There's there's that in there. This is, from what I'm saying, this is somewhat true. Like she was married to Joe DiMaggio. He was a baseball player, and like they're like, oh yeah, he like physically abused her. There haven't been stuff to fully corroborate that, but they her second husband, they're like, oh yeah, he left her because she was just like, he just couldn't put up with her being Marilyn. You know how Marilyn is. She's aloof, and all this shit. But in real life, her second husband divorced her because she wouldn't stop having affairs. Also, it's well known that like The persona of Marilyn Monroe was not actually who that woman was. That is a character she put on because she was an actress in the 50s and the 60s. Like
Right.
nobody's gonna take a woman fucking seriously, but she's really smart, and they don't really explore that. And like they had her doing like that baby doll voice and shit, and it's like that's her character that she put on for the public. But if we have a scene where she's talking to her mom, she's not gonna talk like that. Like she was a real fucking person. And it's like the movie is only interested in like almost every scene ends with her crying because like it's fucking misery porn for Marilyn Monroe. Like whether she's being sexually assaulted by men, she's been physically assaulted by men, she's been exploited by men. That's what this movie is. And so like there's a point in the movie where I'm like, okay, Rachel, also this movie's 3 hours long. I'm like, Rachel, I don't like this. And I would like to stop, but I'm not going I'm not going to stop this movie, but I will go to the end of the line with you if you want to. And like this is a scene where she is being taken out of her home and they're forcibly giving her an abortion. I don't know if this actually happened. And she's like, okay, I'm not feeling this, but let's ride it a little bit, right? And so we are like a little over 2 hours into the movie at this point, and she's pregnant, and the fetus starts talking to her. And she's like, okay, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
So you never finished it?
Yeah, I like that look on your face, Jared.
I haven't watched it, obviously, but it sounds It sounds insane.
It is. It's a fucking fever dream. So like I'm looking up like, stuff, and it's like a lot of things take too long. Like there's a scene because famously she had an affair with JFK.
Right.
There's a scene in the movie where she gives him a blowjob, and the scene is like 2 minutes long. And it's like, why?
Okay, let me interject for a second. So I know of Marilyn Monroe. I know about the affair of JFK, the happy birthday song, the wind blowing up the skirt type of thing.
Right.
Was she a good actress?
I honestly have never seen any of her movies.
That was gonna be my next thing. Was like I guess I know stuff about her in the media. What's the word I'm looking for? Outside of her actual work. So was her work good, or was it just the Marilyn Monroe personality?
Like sort of the tabloid type of stuff.
Right.
That's a good question. I don't know much about her actual work, her acting. I don't, because all I ever hear about is like the stuff you just mentioned.
Right. Because I just looked up her movies, and I've never heard of none of these, but also, all of these movies were made in 1950 and 1960. Right. So I just like, it's people not romanticized. That's not the right word. Maybe it is the right word. Do they love her as the character Marilyn Monroe as far as tabloid stuff, or do they love her as Marilyn Monroe, the actress?
I really couldn't answer that question.
I don't know either.
Mostly,
if I had to guess, I was about to say, if I had to guess, I would think that it's like just like the character, like outside of her work. Because if it was the case, we would probably hear more about her work.
I mean, there's been some stuff while I've never seen any of her movies, like I'm familiar with some things. Like, do you guys remember Birds of Prey?
Yeah. With
Harley Quinn and stuff. Like there's a scene in the movie that takes homage from one of Marilyn Monroe's movies where she's on stage and like all the men are around her. That's taken from one of Marilyn Monroe's famous movies.
Okay.
So like there's I think it's called Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Well, I guess it's not really fair for me to say that because I mean it was so long ago. Like it's hard to judge whether or not she was good for me because I haven't seen any of her work anyway.
Right. I mean, but it could be possible that she's only relevant because of all that stuff outside of her work. It could be. We just can't speak on it because we've never seen any of her films. But also, like, if we watch one of her movies right now, we would have to look at it from a lens of this movie came out in 1955 or whatever.
Right.
And like that's a whole different style of acting than what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally different.
So
because
say.
after I got the phone with you and you were talking about it, because I was trying to think of like, why is she still
relevant
now? Is it because of her art? Is it further not her artwork? Is it because of her acting and everything? It just transfers all through these years. But then I only could base it off my thing where I'm like, I only know her for these controversies and everything else like that.
I mean, sometimes like a person, especially after death, they are remembered for the wrong things.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha.
So also currently I have beef with the Lego Corporation. We verbally sucked their dick several times over the course of this show, but I'm not happy right now. So a couple of months ago, they announced that they made a set about The Office, the TV show. It was like The Office and like a whole bunch of the characters. And so back in July, I pre-ordered it. And so like I was looking on some YouTube stuff, and every now and again, like Lego would be like, hey, if you spend X amount of money during this time period, we'll give you some free Legos, like a free set. And so I was like, oh, cool. The free set for the October 1st to the 13th is pretty cool. I'm getting that, right? Because the Office set releases October 1st. So they're going to deliver it to me like between that period of time. And so I reached out to customer service and it was like, oh, hey, so we base the gifts with purchase off of when you ordered it, not when it's delivered, which I get because like, what if I ordered something September 30th and it doesn't arrive till like October 3rd and I don't get, so I get that, like,
Yeah.
But this was a pre-order. So it's not like that shit could have came early.
Right.
And so they was like, nah, my boy, we just sent you that Office set. So I was like, okay. What's your in-store return policy? Because I'm about to return this motherfucker and rebuy it because they're about to give me those goddamn free gifts with purchase.
Do what you got to do, baby. For real.
I'm not. I don't appreciate Lego making me go to the store tomorrow because my delivery is tomorrow and act like a goddamn Karen, but I'm about to. Yeah, and I see that
at first, I'm glad I saw it. Nah, get your free shit, Chad. Get your free shit.
Thank you. Also, I'm looking on the website and it says that the Office set is back ordered until the 20th of October. So that shit moved quick.
Why don't you get this Black Panther one? That looks cool.
Let me see.
Now that's the UK version of The Office for you, right, Chad?
No, it's the American one.
I'm just fucking around. Nobody. No, I don't think I know anybody who likes the UK version.
I've never even seen it. Yeah, man, this Black Panther is $350.
$350. I just saw the price of it, but
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's dope. It's big. That's my fucking thing. Like these size of these. Like right now, I don't have a lot of space, so I gotta rearrange some shit. But yeah, I would get it if it wasn't $350.
Yeah, that Black Panther
even
is
though
kind of sick though.
Lego, I know Chad has some disparaging things to say about you, but to make it up to him, send him that Black Panther for free.
Man, we gotta get better because like we would shield the fuck out of some items. All right. So ideally tomorrow all this is gonna go down. So next week I'll let everybody know what happened. Hopefully it's all good.
Okay.
Is anybody watching Andor besides me?
Yes. Definitely.
Matt?
Nope.
All right. Overall thoughts on Andor. If you want to spoil shit, spoil shit.
I mean, I only think it's like the best Star Wars we've got in a long time.
Okay.
Well, Mandalorian, I like Mandalorian too. I would still rank Mandalorian slightly above it just because of the amount of episodes that we got. We've only gotten 4 episodes of Andor, so I don't feel comfortable saying it's better than Mandalorian. And plus, it's a different show, but I think Andor is like right up my alley as far as like what I wanted to see from Star Wars. It's adult, it's serious, it's not really jokey. It's got that sort of that grittiness. I love all of that. So sign me up. I'm down. Give me however many seasons they got planned out. I think there's 3 or 4
Two.
or whatever.
Just
2
two.
planned out.
Two. There will be this show is 2 seasons long. In total, it will be 24 episodes.
Okay, maybe that's what was throwing me off. Well, give me all of that. I'm down. I'm loving the show.
Yeah, same here. Like, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, this is a different take on Star Wars. Like, I do not care. I like Jedi's are fucking cool, yes, but I don't want to
Yes.
see that shit. Like, this is a big world, and also you got to remember, in A New Hope, there were people walking around not knowing what the fuck the Force was, right?
Right.
And so, like, if we're gonna have like, people should know what the Force is. Like, we should have stories where people aren't interacting with Jedis, because like that's not a
Yes.
thing anymore. Like, I'm very interested to see like the stuff with the Empire and like how that truly operates, and like the unnecessarily cutthroat nature of that organization, where it's like, why is everybody? Well, I know why everybody's like up against each other, because their boss is a Sith. But it's like, this is unnecessary. It's like, you don't need to, like, if you would just work with these people and not worry about like, oh, they're gonna get promoted over me, like, y'all wouldn't have a fucking rebellion, because y'all would have snuffed this shit out.
Yep, but it's tyranny. So, that's how they get down. But the thing that I really like about it is like, so when we get to A New Hope, it's like the rebellion already exists. Like, they just kind of, our main characters, they kind of jump on board with it. So this is like the boots on the ground, like the people who are like laying the groundwork for the rebellion. And I think that's sick. Like, everybody talks about how Star Wars is a huge universe, so many planets, galaxies, all of that, and yet we seem to be focused in the past, have been focused on anything Skywalker and like its immediate bubble and Tatooine. Don't give me some. I don't even want to see Tatooine ever again. Like, that's how much they've used Tatooine. So it's just like the Skywalker in its immediate bubble, and that's it. But this is like, it's still Star Wars, but it's relevant to what we've seen so far, yet it's unrelated to like directly to like the Skywalker stuff, which is, I love it, man. I'm loving it. Yeah. And I think the dialogue is great. I think like the way they built up those first 2 episodes and then gave us that 3rd episode.
Oh yeah, I see what
payoff. It's just great, man. It's just great. I love it.
Yeah, and this also is harking back to like, I can't really name any shows specifically, but it's like, it's it's not a half-hour show. It's like an hour show, more or less. And it's like, it's been told in blocks. So every 3 episode is its own story arc, right?
Right.
And so like, they're like, you're going to get a little piece of the puzzle, but you got to wait next week to see the next part. And all of this is connected. This isn't like what we're normally doing, like where we'll have 8 episodes and it's like, yeah, this is connected, but like we're also doing other shit. It's like, these 3 specific episodes go together. This is 3 hours that we chopped up. Like, this feels like old school TV a little bit. Yeah, and I like that
definitely. Too. Yeah, I think you can see the money on the screen. You can tell that it's not like just some people on the volume stage. You can tell that they're on location. The sets look great. I just wish that, like, I feel bad for like the Obi-Wan show, because, well, not the show, I guess I should say Ewan McGregor, because he's so good as Obi-Wan. Give this man this kind of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, this show compared to Obi-Wan is just night and day in terms of quality. Like, you can tell that, and I don't want to say like they put more care into this show, because I don't want to be disrespectful to the Obi-Wan people, but it just feels like this show has more weight and depth and attention to detail.
Like they were given the opportunity to take more risks,
Yeah,
which
100%.
which I feel like should be the opposite, right? Like, people are going to watch Obi-Wan, so you should be able to just do whatever the fuck you want to do. And like with something like Andor, like people don't know what the fuck Andor is. That should be playing it safe. Like,
Yeah, I
I
see
don't
what you
know.
mean.
I know you told me that I can watch Andor without watching any other stuff, so I'm gonna give it a try sometime this week.
Yeah, because all you need to know is like I said, this between episode 3 and 4, the Empire is in power. Like that's all you
Yeah.
really need to know.
Okay.
Rick and Morty. You see the latest episode, Matt?
Yes.
Did you see that story I put on our Instagram before you saw this episode?
Yes. I saw that and I was wondering, where'd you get this clip from? And then I laughed and then I watched it. I was like, oh, he got it from this.
Yeah. So it's basically a clip of Rick and Morty. They have a podcast and they're like reading the ad script. And then afterwards, Morty's like, "Oh shit, you're supposed to say wubba dubba dub dub," and Rick's like, "I'm not doing that. I'm not a whore." Like, no.
Yeah. It was it for underwear, right? Boxers?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was
how are you
like,
liking this new season?
I like how toned down it is. Like, that's weird to say for an animated show, but it's like we're just having smaller adventures. And I actually really like that.
Yeah, me too. I really like first, I guess it was just because it was new. So I watched like the first episode like 3-4 times. Then that one, the second episode was a Beth one, right?
It was either that or the Die Hard one.
Die Hard was number 3. Yeah, Beth was number 2. Die Hard was number 3. I've been like you said, I like the smaller toned down thing. But yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
That's like it's been my comfort food. When I just need throw something on, it's been season 6 of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Really enjoying it. I hope that they can keep this consistency up. And it's like, I don't really need to see this other Rick. Like, if we want to just hold off until the next season to do that, and we just have like fun small adventures, whatever, it's cool. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Are you watching it, Jared?
No, I've never seen a single episode of Rick and Morty.
It's good stuff, man.
I hear good things.
The episode that I always introduce people to the show on is the season 2 episode where like the B story is where Summer has to sit in the car while Rick and Morty go inside of the
car battery.
Yeah, like that's always the episode that I introduce people to the show on, because like it just shows how fucked up the show is. Like one of the jokes is like, Summer, the car is set to protect Summer. So if anybody gets close to the car, it'll kill them. And so like eventually there's like a SWAT team around the car. And so what it does is it analyzes the lead SWAT guy, and it like on the internet, and it sees that he had a son that either went missing or died. And so like the son makes like a hologram projection of the car makes a hologram projection of his son. And like it just fucks the man's mind up. And it's just like so fucked up where I'm like, this is what this show is. So like either you are laughing at this and you will watch the whole season, or you think this is fucked up and this isn't for you.
You said it was season 2, episode
6.
She-Hulk, episode 7.
Yes, I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yep.
Overall, quick, what are your thoughts on the series, Jared?
So the first 2 episodes, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. I think it's pretty good. And then the 3rd episode happened, and I was like, not as good as the first 2.
Which
and then
one
the 4th
was the
episode
3rd episode?
happened.
Our 3rd episode is with Wong in it. Was with the first episode with Wong.
The first, that's what I was about to say initially. Okay, so the first 3 episodes I think are pretty good. I think the first episode is the strongest. I think the 3rd episode is probably my second favorite, and I feel like from 4 to 7, it's trailed off for me. Like
what
initially,
about the first episode was strong about it?
Well, because I felt like I felt like it felt MCU-ish to me. Like it felt like it fit in the MCU. And I
Okay.
feel like it it spoke to me and I could relate to it more. And I felt like I was more engaged with everything that was going on. In the later
Oh,
episodes for me, I haven't been loving them. And I feel like this episode 7 might be my least favorite episode that we've seen so far. Either this or
oh,
the trademark episode.
trademark.
Yeah, the
Oh, where
shootout.
she goes to court with Titania. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the last
Uh,
3 episodes for me have been quite weak.
so you don't like the stuff about law in a show about a lawyer.
No, it's not that I don't like the law stuff. It's I don't like what they're doing with the law stuff. Like for example, in Daredevil, when they do law stuff, I think it's great. In the Netflix Daredevil show.
Right, but that's a different tone as
No,
well
I
as
get it, but
like
I'm saying nothing about this law is clever. I don't think any of the comedy is not really landing for me. And maybe it's just not my type of thing. Like I don't think it's I just don't it doesn't land for me. Like most of the comedy hit rate for me is probably like 30% overall in this show.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the whole retreat and her feel about being ghosted. I
Real
get
quick,
it. I get it. Go ahead.
my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say real quick. I thought the first few minutes of episode 7 were really good. Like I was like, okay, I like this because it was kind of like it had style. Like it's hard to explain, but it was like
it's the same. They were doing something similar on Miss Marvel with the whole text
yeah, the
messages.
text message on screen, but not just that. That was definitely a part of it, but it felt like it was kind of like, okay, we're getting something a little bit different. It was kind of like a montage of like the dates and stuff that they were going on. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I kind of like this. And then I feel like it went off the rails once like Man Bull showed up. Like once he showed up, that's where it lost me at. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. My bad, man. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was gonna say that like I didn't really care for the whole retreat thing. Them sharing their feelings and all the other kind of stuff. I was kind of like, eh. And I was like, I guess they doing this because maybe these characters are gonna appear in some other shit that I need to know something about them. But like for me, I had to say like this has been the weakest one for me.
I wouldn't say it's the weak for me. I wouldn't say it's the weakest one because I really don't like the first episode. Because like I don't like how they're like this is a training montage, and I'm like okay, we couldn't have just done this like during the course of several episodes, like her figuring out how to be a Hulk. But like no, I wasn't a fan of this episode. Like I'm with you. Like I didn't really care for the retreat stuff, and like I was right. Like that dude that she met at the wedding wasn't shit.
Yeah,
And
it was obvious.
and like I didn't really feel safe. I didn't really feel like she was safe at the retreat when she was with all those dudes, especially with the main dude there that attacked her.
Yeah.
I'm like something is not right here. And also, I feel like it's intentional that every person that was a part of that retreat was a man. I feel like that was intentional.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think yeah, I think what they were might have been going for is because like the show hasn't been I don't know how to word it, but the portrayal of dudes on the show, the majority of them hasn't been positive. So I
right.
think maybe this was like a not a backpedal necessarily, but like a look, we got good dudes on the show too. Like, because as far as I know, so far that was all straight. Like they were legitimately like feeling trying to help her, as far as I know.
The way I read that whole thing is like, here are these men telling you how to feel.
Yeah, you could look at it that way.
But also, it's like, I just don't, especially like with Abomination, right? Where it's like, we don't fully know what his deal is, right?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, he still agreed to do that fight with Wong, right?
Hmm.
So it's like Abomination's got some shit going on that he's not being honest about. So like that added to like me not feeling safe for her because like what if all this was like a contingency about the blood and shit and like Abomination's in on this too? And like why was that man there? Like it's just all these things that just don't make sense. Not like from a story aspect, but like I just as a viewer, I don't feel safe for the character, even though she is invulnerable when she is a Hulk, as far as we know.
Yeah. Like I would put some some stock into that if the show was smarter. Like I don't think this show is like smart enough to like set something up to where it's like so for example with Abomination, like at first when he's like, oh, I'm a changed man and all of that, and it's like I don't really know if he is really genuinely changed, but as the episodes have gone on so far, he seems to be a different dude now, right? So normally I would be like, maybe this is like sort of a play, like maybe there's a ploy, maybe they're tricking us, but I just don't think the show is smart enough to be that clever. Like that's how I feel about this show.
I mean, I feel like they didn't fully announce all the characters for Thunderbolts intentionally.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's on the team too.
Yeah,
I feel
that wouldn't
like
surprise me.
And I feel like they couldn't announce that because the show is still airing.
It's still going. So you
I
feel like it's a twist coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise. I mean, I just at this point with the show, I'm just to a point where I'm like, it's becoming a chore for me to watch it. Like I'll put it that way. I definitely don't love it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but I think with it being like a sitcom sort of
it's Ally
sitcom.
Yeah,
with it being so it's like for me, when the comedy doesn't land, it's like a lot of it is like it's just fluff to me. So when the comedy hits, it's like, okay, that was funny, I laughed at that. But when it's not, which for the majority of the time it's like that for me, it's just it just becomes kind of a type of a thing.
Okay. All right, so that leads us to this week's review of Intergalactic. So I want to play a little game with you guys before we do this. Jarrett and then Matt, I want you to describe this movie in your own words. Just a couple sentences.
Okay, so this movie is it's about an artist and his love life and his career. That's like the most stripped down version I could give to you.
Man finds girl, girl finds man, complications happen. Will their relationship, basically, will their relationship survive?
Yeah. If I were to play this game too, basically same thing. Like guy getting over a breakup, decides that he wants to be single, but finds a girl that changes all that for him. So the IMDb description is, after a chance run-in with his cool new photographer neighbor, Meadow, Jabari has to figure out whether he can make space for love in his life. Matt, what'd you think of this movie?
Okay, I have to break this down in pieces for you. Okay, I give you the bad first. If we base this solely off the plot, it's a generic love story. You know, two people meet. They something happens. They split up.
That's a disagreement, right?
Yeah, one shows up to an event or something that the other person's at. They fall in love. Happy ending. Okay.
Expresses their love. Yeah, we check all the boxes of the rom-com here.
Yep.
Right. So with the plot being out the way, of that being average, visually, the artwork of it, I love. It gave me a mixture of Arcania versus like Into the Spider-Verse. Like I love like the texture of the hairs of each person. Artwork, visually, musically, I loved. But the plot was just average.
I pretty much agree with that. I'll be honest, when I first started watching the movie, all I could think about was like it's doing like an Into the Spider-Verse impression, but it's not doing it as good. So at first that was kind of like, I won't say it bothered me, but I was noticing it. You know what I'm saying? But then after a while, I was like, let me just watch the movie for what it is, and I got over it. And it's a good looking movie. Not quite as good as Into the Spider-Verse or like Arcane or something like that, but it's definitely visually pretty. I like the character designs for sure. His shoes, his outfits, Jabari, his shoes, all of them, everybody looks pretty good, the character designs. The friends, like the secondary characters are hilarious to me.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie.
I love the Russian story that
Oh yeah, that the one friend said.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, like I agree with you guys. Like when I first saw the trailer for this, like, and I was like, okay, cool. This is like a cool, smartly animated movie about a Black protagonist. I was like, obviously, we have to talk about this. The story was generic for me. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's rom-com 101 for sure.
Yeah. I do wish we would have. I don't really get that, right? Because it's like you know how expensive animation is, right? And like you get somebody like Netflix who they do piss away money, but they're still gonna take a chance and do like a Black animated whatever the fuck. Like who's really gonna watch this besides Black people, right?
Right.
And it's like this is the story we go with.
Maybe
Like
they went
we
with
take,
it was a safe,
and that's the problem.
a safe bet.
Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry.
No, I was just about to say it's definitely a safe story, which is weird because like I don't know if greenlighting this movie with like these characters is safe. So it's like if you're gonna greenlight it, give us
Exactly.
something that's what I'm saying,
Exactly.
that's a little bit more exciting,
Yeah.
But I'm glad they
Exactly.
made it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm glad they made it too. Also, like from what I understand, like if you work on a comic book, you don't make a lot of money. It's not like you're working in the film industry, from what I understand. So, like for him to be able to move into this new apartment that clearly is like you're living in a loft in New York, like all that
In
space
Manhattan. He's in
and brick.
Manhattan.
And it's like you shouldn't be able to afford that on just an like a comic book artist and possibly writer's salary. It don't matter how swanky that comic book company is. It's like there's not a lot of money in comics. And like the only way those people make money is when they license their shit for like movies and toys and stuff. And
Right.
Mr. Rager, it was not at that point, the character that he created.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you live in Manhattan and you live in a shoebox size apartment, it's gonna be a lot. So for
Right.
him to have a huge penthouse with like multiple floor, I think it was like multiple levels, you have to be making a crazy amount of money.
Right. And so like my thing is like, were we not talking about how he came from money? Like what is happening here?
You might be onto
Could
something.
be.
Well, although because his ex-girlfriend implied like, oh, you still working at the shoe store or something like. You remember she said that you still.
Oh yeah,
something?
and that first was it that first scene?
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
first
something like
time
that.
he ran into her at the
Yeah.
restaurant. Yeah.
So now like
So
that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't. I'm not saying I didn't like that, but like I really thought about that as I was watching it.
One thing I thought about was like when he was on his bike, he never had a backpack, right? He either had a shirt on, right?
Okay.
But then wherever he went, he tagged some stuff. So I kept thinking, where was these spray cans at?
Where's your
like
right?
Because like even when like at the end when he spray painted the McDonald's thing, I was like, where's the spray can at? And like when he drove away, he didn't have a backpack on. Are you pre-staging these spray cans, or are you like, I don't know, like that's the thing was like the small details. I was like, where are you putting the stuff at?
As somebody who used to actually go around and do that, I can tell you right now, you need a backpack.
Right.
Need a backpack. You are not putting spray cans in your pockets. Like it's not happening.
Yeah, I thought about that too, like when he was at the party. But also it's like you show up to so there, the final thing of like, oh yeah, this is how he expresses his love by like they broke up by this point and he goes to an event that she was aware that, her big event. And like He goes to it. He goes outside. He sprays, and then he leaves. It's like, bro, you're making her leave her big event.
I thought about that too.
I thought about the
thought about
same
that.
thing. Thought about the same thing.
Because I thought it was going to be a thing where she makes her, or I don't know if she was going to make a speech, but I thought it was going to be something where, because remember before then she had that picture of Jabari and she was like, well, I'm not sure if he's going to make it or not. I thought he's going to, of course he's going to show up, but I also thought it would be something revolved around that picture. And then that's how they come back. But then for him just to do that and be like, I'm going to spray paint it. I know she going to see it. Eventually she going to see it.
Exactly. That's the same thing I said. I'm like, it's a big leap in logic. First of all, that because look, as far as he knows, she's done, right? They're on the outs completely at this point. So for you to just go in and then leave, she could just be like, damn, he just left my event. Like, this is a big night for me. So like the idea of you going in and then leaving and you just knowing that she's going to follow you, not even follow you. She didn't even see where he went. But the fact that he like, she'll see it outside of the event that she's supposed to be at for herself.
You gotta go to the roof to see this though.
Yeah, it's like a big leap in logic. But I was like, it's rom-com, so
not Carmen. What was her friend's name?
Just call her Vanessa.
Karina. Yeah, she was like, she showed up for her. And then imagine like you show up to an event for your friend. Next, you know, your friend leaves and you just be like, oh, okay.
I mean, I feel like it's not rom-com, but I feel like a better ending would have been like, we as an audience see that he made it so that she's giving her speech, but she doesn't see it. And then like she's making the rounds and she stops at the photo that she decided to keep in her exhibit. And like either they have a conversation there or like the movie ends there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
I
Something
agree.
realistic.
Either way would be better than what they gave us.
Yeah.
Because it felt rushed and it felt like they just needed because all rom-coms have the thing where it's like, you know, oh, I'm gonna go run to the train station and stop you before you get on the train or whatever, that type of thing. So this felt like it was just super contrived and like it was the end of the movie, so they needed to get back together, but they couldn't quite find a way to do it, so they just had them do this. And another thing is the dating app thing. I was just kind of like,
what's the point of that?
I don't know. Like, I was thinking like maybe this is a real thing, like a real dating app that's tied into this, like promotionally or something. And then I was like, at the end of the movie, when they did the thing where it was like it was a scam, I was like, okay, that's clearly not what this is. So why is there so much emphasis being put on this dating thing? Like, it didn't really play a role in the movie. I was confused.
Yeah, I really thought that it kept coming up. I thought like eventually he was gonna get on the app and like see like his ex and also Meadow. I thought that's where we were going with this, or like when his coworker brought the app up, I thought he was gonna match with somebody that he knew, but it's just like, okay, like dating apps are good and bad, more bad than good, but I don't really get that.
Yeah, I was very confused about why. It's fine if it was in there, like if they mentioned it in passing, but they mentioned it like at least 12 times. Like it was on every street scene. Like there was billboards for it. In the cab, it was billboards for it. Like on the TV. Like, so when it didn't pay off or nothing came of it, I was just like, why is this in the movie? Like I didn't get that at all. But it was a lot of parts in this movie where I like laughed out loud.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ty Dolla $ign was he was good.
Yes, he was.
But speaking of that, I didn't know, like you brought up Vanessa Hudgens. I didn't know like all the different stars they had in here. Like, did you, without looking, could you tell that Downtown Pat was Macaulay Culkin?
No, like I didn't know. Only before I saw this, the only people I knew who were in it were Kid Cudi and Williams. What's her name?
Jessica
Williams. And then like I was just looking people up as I was watching it.
Okay.
I went in completely blind. I didn't watch a trailer or anything. And I knew it was Kid Cudi's voice. Well, I think the music, I think they played some of his music before. So I had just heard his voice, but I recognized his voice, but everybody else I had no idea who what the voice actors were.
Also, Jaden Smith was in it too.
Yes, he was. He was the kid that was at the skate park complaining about talking about how he just broke up with his girlfriend, but
Yeah,
he's
right.
basically
Well, he
ghosting her.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like this would have been better suited as live action?
No, I think it's fine as animation. I think it would be. I would guess that I would say it might be better as animation, just
I was
because
gonna go with
this
that
was
route.
so fantastic, like
Yes, because
visually.
the plot is not good enough for it to be
Right.
live action.
Right.
Because if it was live action, we would have just been like, oh, this is just a generic ass rom-com. Now,
Yeah,
this
that's
still
fair.
is a generic ass rom-com, but the visual of it makes it so much better.
Yes,
That's
I
a good
agree.
point. No, I agree. Like I was watching, I was like, yeah, these visual flares do add to it. Also, guys and gals listening to the show, in your phone setting, take it off of it where the text messages come straight to your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't.
Don't leave, because mine just says text message. It don't actually says what it is.
Like my shit is like, if I get a text message, my screen doesn't come on.
Mine does it, but it don't say.
Okay.
Yeah, mine says like text message. It don't say it was from. It just says text message from.
I get what you're saying, but it was like no. The only time I need to know I got a text message is if I actually look at the phone. Like no.
Oh.
I don't feel like the ex-girlfriend did anything wrong.
I thought about this after I got done watching the movie. She didn't do anything wrong because technically they weren't. Meadow and Jabari were not together. They were seeing each other, but they weren't together. So
and also the very last conversation Carmen had with Jabari was, I'm on this single boy life. This is hot boy summer.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I was about to say. Plus, even if they were together, even if him and Meadow were together, she didn't know. So it's like, it's not like she was intentionally doing it, even if, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And also
she wrote that to him, meaning like she was joking with him. He knows that he didn't have sex with her that night. So when she was joking with him. So yeah, she didn't do anything wrong in my opinion.
But then also like I'm turning this back on him because it's like you still went over her house. Like, so what is she supposed to think of that?
Well, he did say they were friends.
No. Yeah. Yes. But what I'm saying is, at no point was he like, oh yeah, I'm regularly fucking this one girl. Like you spent time with her that day. It's not like he went over there, saw the rat, ran out, and went home. I feel like they hung out for a little bit that day.
Possibly.
I mean,
even though we didn't see it. Like, you're not just gonna take the time to go all the way over somebody's house and then run out.
Could be.
So yeah.
Well, also, I don't think the movie was really like portraying it as she did something wrong either. Like, I kind of like how they played it. Like, they didn't like villainize her. So I thought that was pretty good, at least.
Yeah, I agree.
Because a lot of times the ex is like intentionally shitty. I'm glad they didn't do that. And she had a fat ass forehead, by the way. Yeah. I was like, she's 10. She got that Tessa Thompson. I'm like, damn.
I feel like that was fucked up. Like, they hooked up and then she like, oh, my mom on the phone. Like, the fuck you mean?
I said the same thing. Right. I'm like, damn, she ain't even. She just handed him the phone. I'm like, that's crazy.
Wasting no time to just
that's the only thing
reestablishing it.
She like she picked right up where they left off.
Right.
All right, did y'all guys dislike, or didn't care about the whole break into chapters part?
It was more than 2 chapters.
No, I'm saying like did you? No, I'm saying the break into chapters.
Into chapters.
Oh yeah, I didn't think that was too bad. I was like, was this supposed to be a show? And like the chapters were the episodes. It's like, I didn't understand why we were doing that, because like the first episode was like the dog whistle. And so I was expecting like some racist shit to happen, and it didn't.
Me too.
But then in the second episode, some racist shit happened, but it wasn't a dog whistle. And the title reflected the racist shit. So I was like, I don't understand what's happening with these titles.
I think maybe it was like they were trying to do a comic book thing with the chapters, but comic books don't really have chapters though. So I don't.
Right.
I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe it was
I
supposed to be shows or shorts.
Because when I thought about it, I was thinking of like a Quentin Tarantino movie where they break their little stuff up in chapters and stuff.
Real quick, I like the part when so she's like at the exhibit about to set up her exhibit at the end, and like it's the other artist there, and she's like she's talking to her or whatever it is. She's like, let me go get back to this white man.
Yeah.
I don't know why that shit made me laugh so hard.
Hold on, that got me thinking, who was that? Who did her voice?
I think she's a rapper. I was like, I don't know who this is, but you look like you probably rap.
Yeah, she seemed familiar. Like that's one thing that I did like about the characters was like they felt like actual characters. Like I could see each of them being like a real person.
All right, so guys, what do you think the Rotten Tomato score on this movie was?
75.
That's what I was gonna go. So I'm going 80.
It was 92.
Oh damn.
With a 93% audience score.
Wow. How many how does that work?
So there's 12 reviews for the official critics though. For trivia, of the following, which movie did Kid Cudi not act in? A, Don't Look Up, B, Sonic 2, C, Bill and Ted 3, or D, Need for Speed?
Need for Speed.
I would guess Sonic 2. I haven't seen it, but that doesn't sound Kid Cudi-ish to me.
So Kid Cudi was on the soundtrack for Sonic 2, but he wasn't in the movie.
Does that count? I guess it counts.
He wasn't in the movie. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, which one did he not act in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you.
All right. So like I said, trivia was pretty sparse for this. Like the only thing is like the same day that the movie came out, he dropped an album also called Entergalactic, which is where the music from the movie came from. So yeah, it was all new music. But yeah.
I thought the music was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. Kenya Barris was a producer on this from like Blackish. So that was him at the end at the art gallery. Talking to Meadow.
Yeah, one thing I did like was how every character, well, not every character, majority of the main characters look exactly like the actors do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the show. Thanks for coming on, Jared. Like, you're one of those guests that we like having on, but we really shouldn't have you on too often because we record too long with you.
Yeah, that's how it is when I'm around. We just got to chit chat, talk about a lot of things. But yeah, I love coming here. It's my favorite podcast, so I got to come back as much as possible.
We appreciate that, man. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just follow me on Instagram, Jared, JARED _ France, FRANCE.
All right, and also stop stealing his shit. All right, when he posts artwork,
please.
get this man his props.
That one.
Yes.
That one. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page, We Used to Talk About This at Work, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at We Used to Talk Pod. Come back next week where we lament about the ups and downs of being content creators as we discuss the Hulu original, Not Okay.
And like always, I don't know if this was a good episode. I don't know if it was a bad episode. But whatever you think about it, talk about it at work. Thank you for listening.